So there's something I've come to notice about myself recently, and that is that I just always feel behind. I always have, and I potentially always will. It doesn't matter what I've achieved, what I have, it's always a sense of I could have more, I could do more. And the reason I want to make this video is not for like, oh, poor you, I'm so sorry. It's because I know a lot of you feel the same way, and I want you to know that you're not alone. And I want to talk about some of the things that I've been doing to try and help that and mitigate that feeling as much as possible because it's not a good one. So, I've been working very, very hard for as long as I can remember. I started YouTube at 13 and I've been pretty much going nonstop ever since then. And on paper, I've achieved a good amount of success. I'm living a great life, and really, I couldn't complain. Um, and for my age, it's like I'm pretty far ahead from where the typical person would be. But despite that, there's always those people online that you look at where they have something where you're like, man, they're so much further ahead than me. They um, are living this life. I wish I could live that. Or they're doing these things. They have this business. They X, Y, and Z. And I need to ground myself sometimes and just be like, look, your life, the situation you're in right now, this is one that you've always dreamed of. Looking at these other people and almost resenting these dreams that you didn't chase, these dreams you didn't pursue, is just a toxic cycle. And what I've kind of boiled it down to is the reason we feel this way, the reason it's so hard and we always feel so behind is A, because there's so many different people we could look at in life. And of course, we can't be the absolute best at every single thing in life. So there's always going to be something that someone does better than us. But what I really think is the problem is that every time you make a major decision in your life, whether that be a partner, whether that be a new job, whether that be, um, I don't know, having kids versus not having kids, whatever business you want to start, you have to make a decision one way or another. And I like to think of it as paths. So let's say when you're born, you just have one straight road. And then you get to a point where there are 15 different branches off, and that's your first major decision. It's not one of those things where you can go down a path and leave another side road open to jump over to another one if things go wrong. This is literally making that decision and shutting off all 14 other paths that you don't choose. And of course, that is going to be hard. Of course, there's going to be some sense of what if? What if that would have been better? What if this isn't the right path? And then you see someone else who took that other path and it just reaffirms it even more. Whoa, that looks pretty good. They seem like they're having a great time. Maybe I should be going on this other path. Maybe I should have chose that one. Then you start resenting the life you live and feeling behind because of this imaginary life that you'd be living in this other situation. And you can see just by me kind of explaining this, like, wow, no wonder we all feel so crappy all the time. Because this phenomenon I just talked about, it happens to each and every one of us subconsciously every single day. And we resent the loss of this other path that we didn't choose. So, what I always try to remind myself, and what I want you to remind yourself as well, is that in the moment, the decision we made was the one that we felt was right. It was the one that in the moment, giving everything that we knew, everything we desired, and having all the options, we still chose that one. And that should give you a little bit of peace of mind. Saying, you know what? When I had all these different options, this is the one I chose. Of course, there's going to be hardships. Of course, it might not be perfect all the time. But I chose this one, and I'm going to continue on with it, regardless of all the noise in the world. There will always be noise, but focus on yourself and your mission. And you know what? If you can't get that closure from knowing I made this decision on my own, because maybe you didn't. Maybe you got pressured by other people. Maybe you did it to please someone else. then that's something else you can work on. Going forward is making decisions for yourself so you can get that closure in these situations. But I want you to remember that just because it looks greener on the other side doesn't mean it always is. So love your situation and where you are right now. And that's a battle we have to choose every single day. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this one. I definitely enjoyed making it. I love this kind of more vulnerable, personal stuff. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, I got many more videos coming soon, but I appreciate you all. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.